Hey Sloan, how would you get over anxiety and stress because I have it and I don't know what to do? Hey Caylee, me too. If y'all don't know, I'm a high school senior right now and I'm in the midst of applying to colleges, which, as I'm sure my fellow seniors would know, is something of a stressful time. You're looking back on the last 4 years of your life, you're condensing it all into an application, and you're figuring out where you're going to go for the next 4 years. Today, I actually submitted my very first college application, and I'm not going to talk about anything specific, obviously. So I felt like now would be a good time to talk a little bit about the feeling of stress, especially as a teenager, and share advice, yes, but also my experience with it, because I don't think that there's anyone out there in the world who's completely conquered stress. So first of all, I feel they need to be very clear about a distinction. There is a difference between feeling anxious and feeling stressed. Generally, how people think of it is stress is kind of tied to a specific thing. So maybe you're stressed about a test, you're stressed about a situation with a friend, whereas anxiety can sort of feel all-consuming and unexplainable. And if you are feeling feelings of anxiety that are taking over your day in life, that is something that you can seek professional help for. But as far as that more concrete, quantifiable stress, if you will, there's always been something that my dad has said to me growing up, and that is, instead of stressing about something, just do it. Okay, this claim does not work in every context. I know. But for example, stay with me, I'm really stressed about all this homework I have tonight. Get started. I'm really stressed about having to confess this to my mom. Confess it. And I know you're thinking like, bro, I don't want to. But for small things like that, why prolong the state of stress, which stress can lead to health issues? It overall will ruin and affect your day, when you can just sort of break the ice on a lot of those things, and they generally turn out to be less scary than you think. So in the productivity context, I always try to tell myself, if I'm sitting there freaking out about something that I have to get done, to get started, because that will dissipate a lot of the stress already. But sometimes we're stressed about things that don't have, an action that we could do tomorrow. Sometimes you're stressed about waiting to hear something back, or, just how something is going over time. I feel like that's probably the closest match to the sort of stress of waiting for a college decision. Because it's out of your hands, right? But for whatever reason, that stress is still there. That is useless stress. It is useless stress. And I think that if you can recognize it and you can be like, yo, why are you here? Stress. Like no one needs you to be here, because there's nothing that you are inspiring or motivating me to do. Pressure is privilege whenever it pressures you into actually doing the work and doing something important. But whenever you're stressed about certain situations, you just have to remind yourself that it'll go how you want, or it'll go how it's supposed to go. And with that quote, it's like, I've had days where I've thought the world was ending, and it never has a singular time. But the sentiment is true. The key to managing your stress is to understanding why it's there and either putting it to use or putting it away. So, up until today, it makes sense for me to be stressed about this specific application, to want to make sure that I get it exactly at its best. But from now on, stress about this specific school is useless. And I know it's easier said than done, but sometimes just acknowledging the fact that there really is no rational reason for you to be feeling this way is good. And you can look at the evidence. I love to kind of give myself proof. I'm like, think about this time whenever you were super duper duper worried about this, and you were so embarrassed when people would think about this. Flash forward to now, everything worked out exactly the way it was supposed to. So I suppose that's my take on stress from a more strategic, logical perspective. Either leverage it or eliminate it. All right, I love you guys. Please wish me luck in my decisions. Thank you so much. I hope you have an amazing day.